Okay, let's dive right in. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to try something just a little bit different. Look, if you're anything like me, you probably feel like modern health and fitness advice has just become, well, incredibly overwhelming. It's like this constant, exhausting wall of noise. We're constantly told we need to do a 2-hour grueling workout, sleep in some perfectly temperature-controlled room, chug a gallon of water, and track every single macro just to be considered basically healthy. I mean, it's exhausting just thinking about it, right? So today, we're cutting right through all that noise. We're stripping away those impossible standards and looking at what actually moves the needle for your health, using real science and just simple logic. And that brings us to our guiding light for today, the OSLOBE walk philosophy. That's OSLOBE walk philosophy. It represents something we all desperately need right now, which is sustainable progress. You see, real health is not about punishing yourself. It's not about overhauling your entire life by tomorrow morning. The OSLOBE walk philosophy is all about embracing the journey, letting go of all that fitness-related guilt you've been carrying around, and finally realizing that small, manageable steps are the true secret to long-term vitality. So, take a deep breath, drop the guilt, and let's get into it. Here is our game plan for today. We've got a two-part agenda. First up, we'll cover small daily health habits. And then second, common fitness myths debunked.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1, small daily health habits.
Now, this first concept basically flips everything we've been taught about sleep completely upside down. Think about it. Most of us absolutely obsess over our bedtime, right? We think, okay, if I just force myself into bed by 10 p.m., I'll be totally fine. But science shows us this massive paradigm shift, your circadian rhythm. Your body's internal 24-hour clock actually resets primarily based on a consistent wake time, not just when your head hits the pillow. Waking up at the exact same time every single day is literally the most powerful anchor you can give your internal clock. It trains your body to stabilize your energy levels, which means no more of those groggy, completely unpredictable mornings.
So how do we actually make that consistent wake time happen? It comes down to a shockingly simple morning routine. First, you wake at that consistent time. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, you get natural light into your eyes within the first 30 minutes of being awake. Why? Because that morning light exposure effectively sets a timer in your brain. It regulates your melatonin production for way later that evening, ensuring you actually get that deep, uninterrupted sleep that keeps stress hormones like cortisol in check. And finally, just layer in some deep, slow breathing. This directly activates your parasympathetic nervous system, instantly shifting your body right out of that frantic morning stress response and into a state of calm. Do that, and you've essentially just conquered your whole day in the first 10 minutes.
Let's see how this builds into the rest of your day. Okay, you've just finished a meal, and typically your first instinct is to just go crash on the couch. We've all been there. But a tiny 5-minute walk right after eating is a total game changer. And listen, this isn't a workout, it's basically a physiological hack. That gentle movement encourages your muscles to actively absorb glucose straight out of your bloodstream. By doing this, you are preventing those massive post-meal blood sugar spikes that inevitably lead to that dreaded afternoon energy crash. Seriously, 5 minutes is all it takes to keep your energy perfectly level.
And this brings us to an absolutely fascinating concept called NEAT. That's N-E-A-T, which stands for Non-Exercise Activity Thermogenesis. I know, it sounds incredibly complex, but it's actually the most natural thing in the world. NEAT accounts for all the calories your body burns doing literally anything that isn't sleeping, eating, or dedicated sports-like exercise. We're talking about fidgeting at your desk, pacing around while you're on a phone call, tapping your foot, or just doing chores around the house. These small, tiny movements throughout the day burn real, significant calories, and they add up massively over time without you ever having to step foot inside a gym.
So, the takeaway here is that we need to maximize our NEAT and break up all that sedentary time with 3 super simple steps. First, just stand up every hour. Prolonged sitting actively puts the brakes on your metabolism, regardless of whether you plan to hit the gym later. Just 1 minute of standing interrupts that dangerous pattern. Second, do a 30-second stretch to keep those muscles from locking up. And third, fix your posture. Actually, let's do it right now. While you're watching this explainer, sit up just a little straighter. Pull those shoulders back. Those small conscious posture corrections prevent that chronic neck and shoulder tension we so often mistakenly blame on just getting older or being stressed.
All right, moving right along to part 2, common fitness myths debunked. Let's lift some of that pressure off your shoulders.
We absolutely have to start with the most famous number in fitness history, 10,000 steps a day. I mean, it's ingrained in our heads. Our smartwatches literally yell at us if we don't hit it. But the truth behind this number is mind-blowing. That 10,000 step target did not come from some rigorous, peer-reviewed medical study. No way. It actually originated from a 1960s Japanese marketing campaign for a pedometer.
The Japanese character for 10,000 kind of looked like a little man walking, so they just ran with it. It was an advertisement, you guys, not a biological mandate.
So let's look at the actual science and relieve some of that daily guilt. Research definitively proves that meaningful, life-extending health benefits actually start right here, around 6,000 to 7,000 steps for most people. Look, hitting 10,000 is awesome if you can do it, but the massive leap in cardiovascular health and longevity, it happens at this much, much more achievable threshold. So if you've been hitting 6,500 steps and going to bed feeling like a failure, you can officially let that go. You are doing fantastic.
Let's dismantle another classic, how to properly warm up. For decades, we were all taught in gym class to reach down, touch our toes, and hold it for 30 seconds before a run. But we need to flip the script on that. Holding static stretches on cold muscles can actually reduce your strength and power output right before you train. Think about it like pulling a cold rubber band. It's just not going to end well. Instead, the science firmly points to dynamic warm-ups. We're talking light, flowing movements rather than stillness. Moving your joints smoothly through their range of motion is what truly prepares the body for activity and keeps injuries at bay.
Now, perhaps the most damaging myth of all is this whole no pain, no gain nonsense. We've been completely conditioned to believe that a workout only counts if it hurts. But while mild muscle fatigue is totally normal, sharp pain is a blaring biological warning sign. It is literally your body telling you to stop. Comfortable, consistent movement is what actually yields real progress. You absolutely do not have to break yourself down just to build yourself up.
Let's rapid-fire debunk a few more of these pressure-inducing myths. First up, sweat. Sweat does not equal a better workout. It's literally just your body's built-in air conditioning system regulating temperature. Second, rest days are not wasted days. Your muscles don't actually grow while you're lifting weights in the gym. They grow when you are resting on the couch, recovering. Third, duration. The research is clear. 10 to 15 consistent minutes of movement most days dramatically outperforms some grueling 2-hour session you only manage to do once a month. And finally, please don't wait for perfect conditions. Waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect matching outfit, or the perfect weather usually just means you never start at all. A short, imperfect walk today is infinitely better than a perfect workout tomorrow that just never happens. Which brings us right back home to where we started. The O-SLUBI walk philosophy. The core takeaway from all this cool science and myth-busting is incredibly liberating. Real, lasting health does not require extreme lifestyle overhauls. It doesn't require pain, punishment, or perfection. All it requires is sustainable progress, one small, manageable step at a time. It's about building a healthy life that you don't feel the need to take a vacation from. So the absolutely crucial point to take away from this entire explainer is this golden rule. Consistency beats intensity. Behavioral research constantly shows us that shrinking a new habit down to something almost ridiculously easy dramatically increases the odds that it actually sticks. Starting small and sticking with it day after day is the true, undisputed secret to habit formation and long-term success. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder. Looking back at everything we've covered today, whether it's setting a consistent wake time, trying out a 5-minute post-meal walk, or just finally giving yourself permission to do a 10-minute dynamic workout without any of the guilt, what is one small step you can take today? Pick just one tiny, consistent habit from this explainer. Please don't try to do them all at once. Just pick one, start right now, and watch how it transforms your life over time. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.